Eliminate the workplace excuse. That's what leaders do. This is the Career Blind Spot Podcast. All right, Courtney, today's CBQ. What percentage of remote employees do you think are 80% accountable? And not just the people you work with, because we don't need to name names or anything. But in general, people who work remote, because you're really biased to it. We've argued, maybe not recently, but probably will today. What percentage of remote employees do you think are accountable employees?
What do you mean by accountable?
At their job.
You mean, are they doing work?
Are they doing their job?
Oh, I think a lot more than people think.
Give me a freaking number.
I would say like 80%. Slow your roll, Heidi.
Really?
Yeah, I really think so.
So you're saying 80% of remote employees are doing the job that they're supposed to do?
Yes.
Why do you say that?
Because they're actually doing the job that they're supposed to do. They're not doing all the other things they do whenever they're in the office.
That's fair. They're not getting distracted. I said it's
drop.
fair. I didn't say it's right.
It's right.
Do you think 80% of in-office employees are accountable doing their job?
No.
Why not?
I think in-office employees are spending too much time socializing, having to talk to people, figure out how to make themselves feel comfortable in an environment that's very not them.
Okay. So this bunny trails into something else, but I think it's important.
Hop.
When you say accountable, I'm not referring to what the individual thinks their job is, but by the company thinks their job is, their boss thinks their job is. Do you think the remote employees, if you were to ask their bosses, hey, yeah, most of my team, they're all, 8 out of 10 or 4 out of 5 of them, they're doing exactly what I need them to do.
Yeah. And if they're not, that's the leader's problem. Same as it would be if they were in the office and they weren't doing the right thing. You don't like my answer.
I don't agree with it, and I don't feel like you're making a good case. I feel like you do bring up something. Going in the office, there are distractions.
Yes.
So you're saying when you work from home, you're never distracted?
That's not it, though. It's not the same. When I work from home, I don't have people talking to me all the time. I don't have to stop what I'm doing, refocus, and start going again. I can make my own breaks and take them and go distract myself. Yes.
Okay. Have you ever been an unaccountable remote employee?
Yeah.
What was the difference?
I like my job now.
Okay. So do you think all the people who are working remote like their job?
No, but I think that there is something to be said for the fact that when everybody went remote, that did go remote during the pandemic, they realized that they could do their jobs in like 2 hours instead of 8 hours a day.
Yeah, and I think in fairness to what you're, not just fairness, in truth is, we're disagreeing that I think the fluff is a part of your job. Going to meetings and that waste time or company functions, like, yeah, if it's unclear that you're going, that's an issue. But I get, hey, I don't want to go. Like if I was an employee and I knew I could do my job at home in 15 hours in the week, but they're like, no, you got to get gas up your car, get dressed, do all these things. I definitely would have issue. But I'm saying the job is whatever the person who agrees to give you the money for it says it is. You reserve the right to say, I don't want to do this anymore, just like they reserve the right to say, hey, your job is different now. The problem is scope creep, where they're like, hey, now you do this because your team of 10 is now 4 people, so you get the job of 2.5 people left over. You don't have to say yes to it. That's easier said than done because it's like, well, what do I do? I can't get another job. Well, some people did that. They're like, I'm not going to do that. The whole point in this episode, and I put Courtney on the hot seat, and this is good. We're going to revisit this topic. I don't think most people, and accountable's a broad word, but I don't think most people are doing the bare minimum of what their job is in general, yet alone remotely. Now, I would not believe, and I don't have the actual statistics, and I'm sure Harvard or some general thing is going to say something, but even if there is a number, even if they say it's 90% or 50%, your environment is going to be unique and different. But if you have a team or you're an employee, especially if you're an accountable remote employee, let me ask you, listener, are all of your peers carrying their own weight? Are they there when they need you to? Or can you count on them to deliver? Or are they sometimes preoccupied with life's happenings? I'll say it a different way. I think a lot of remote employees are kind of ruining it for a lot of people. People were doing remote work long before. It's definitely doable. But you better move the needle. Otherwise, why am I paying you to reach out when I could just make someone come into the office and I can be an overlord to them? So, is that fair? You're giving me a dirty look.
I mean, I'm giving you a dirty look because I'm thinking, why would you have someone come into an office? Now you've already put that person in a situation where they have to gas up their car or get on a train, come into the office that you're having to pay for, sit down at a desk that you paid for.
Fair, but you're asking hypothetically because you've never paid anyone to do a job full time.
Okay.
You don't have a brick and mortar.
Neither do you.
No, but I have it a lot closer. I have vendors and I don't pay people hourly. But I understand why people would do it. I don't agree with it, but I understand. If you can't fathom why someone wants people to come back in the office without being super negative, then you're part of the issue. You're also, I'm going to compliment you here, very biased because you're good at communicating effectively remotely. In fact, you're better at it than in person.
That's true.
So you're biased. You have found a way to thrive. This is a compliment attack to the forehead. You have found a way to thrive. But 10 years ago, you were toxic, terrible. You got really depressed by being a bad fit.
Yeah.
Is that fair or am I being harsh?
That's fair. I mean, you're a little harsh about being fair, but that's fine.
So on a scale, and I'm not saying she was a complete 0, although...
I would say I was 0.
And I'm not saying that you're an absolute 10. But let's just say you were on a range of bad to amazing. You were like a 3 to a 9. I don't think most people are in your airspace of being effective from their jobs remotely.
I think that is a missed opportunity, though. Because
yes, that's okay, good. That's fair. But you're saying, and you're welcome to change your answer. I did interrupt you, but you're dodging the question. If it is a missed opportunity, but what is the actual, is it 80% of people are still around your territory of being effective at home?
I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. You want it to be that way. You think it could be that way.
It should
but
be
last
that way.
I checked, most companies onboarding sucks butt. Some companies are doing it really great, and you know about it. But most onboarding, and I don't want to put anyone on blast here, but were you ever onboarded phenomenally?
Yes. Yes. At Amex.
Okay.
Yeah.
Every time you got a new job?
No.
And we don't need to name names. But even if you weren't onboarded phenomenally, were you ever onboarded, let's say, in terms of like using my grades, a C level? Like, it's okay. There's a lot to improve, but I guess I have enough to do my job.
Yeah.
Have you ever been onboarded terribly?
Yeah.
Where you like don't even have a desk or nowhere to go, a computer or a connection. So now do that remotely. When, the last time you helped your mom or any person who's technically challenged over FaceTime, remember how fun that is? So imagine doing that with tech with all your remote employees. So I'm not saying it couldn't be better. Yes, this whole point of this podcast is to make work better. But the reality is hard. And just to say I could do that. You're incredibly biased.
Okay.
And I think someone like you could pull it off. But also someone like you
do pull it off.
Someone like you would also tell all the companies who don't want to do it all the things they don't want to do. It's easier, maybe not even easier. It's more familiar for us to just make people return to the office versus, well, Courtney just gave us this big old spreadsheet of this, that, and the other. Nah, we're just going to do what we've always done because we've always done it before. You might not like that, but is that a likely outcome that you'd be willing to bet on that a lot of companies would conclude?
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to rain on your parade. If anything, I'm trying to be the opposite, but like, we got to tell the truth. And this is supposed to be about isolation, but maybe that's what it is too, is you're so far removed from the day-to-day of like, the companies have worked this. The majority of companies have not been remote. So to expect so many of them that were already flawed on onboarding to communicate effectively digitally across time zones and countries and laws and all this other stuff, you're really underestimating what it takes. To your point, it can be done. It is being done. but it takes people who are very serious about doing it. I'll take a big step back, and thank you for being the guinea pig. That was not the plan. I'm sure we're going to get some hate mail. Before I, maybe not switch gears, but simplify this, anything to add, because you came biased, I attacked you, but I think it's good, and I think it's real feelings that, honestly, I think more people are going to side with you.
Yeah.
Is there anything to add on that?
First, let's change your word. You didn't attack me. You had a different opinion that you're passionate about, and that's why I like talking to you. That's why we're making these podcasts.
Facts.
We're supposed to not agree on everything. Otherwise, it'd be really freaking boring to be married to you. So, yeah, maybe I changed my mind. I don't think that you're wrong. I think my hope is that people would be as effective as I am. It's easier for somebody who doesn't get energy from being around people to work from home. For me, it's the only way I've known how to be a leader and lead a meeting and take charge on things. I feel very comfortable doing.
Yes, then that's that bias, which I get, but that is you're the you're the exception here. There are people who, I think a lot of people, to your point, I like work better because I'm at home. I can run errands. I can do this. I don't think they got better at their jobs like you did, or discovered this whole other lane of management and connecting with people. Especially, there's a first episode Courtney's on. I wanted to be a robot. Go look at the picture of her desk.
Please don't.
It's on the cover of it. She reluctantly, you didn't want to be a remote employee.
Right.
And so this is not to put you on blast. I'm going to switch aisle here to Courtney's side of like, this is what should happen, not just when you hire remote, when you hire, period, assuming you have high standards. And I think a lot of people say they have high standards, but don't have the incentive to match them, don't have the onboarding, the experience. It's like saying, hey, we want LeBron James on the Suns, but we're only going to pay you what the rookies get.
And I think also you really have to look at it generationally, because Gen Z, these kids are so savvy online and tech savvy, and they know how to get things done.
Yeah.
But I'm saying they are calling people who have to have an office like it's a boomer trophy to have an office at this point. Not everybody wants that. It doesn't work for everyone.
But also, neither does remote work.
I don't disagree with that. I think hybrid is a really good option.
I'm saying for a lot of people, dare I say, I'd be happy to be wrong, but I would venture to get like real people, not the people at the coffee shop right now who are wasting their time. Like people who have bills and need to pay stuff. I would venture to guess, you give me 100 of them, people with real responsibility. You say, hey, would you rather have a remote job, a hybrid job, or go into the office? I would bet a lot of money that at least 60, if not 80% of them would say go to the in-office.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I disagree with that wholeheartedly.
Yes. But also, who knows more people? Who goes to lunch meeting? This is not an insult. I'm serious. Like, all of this is hypothetical in your head. You're watching influencers or friends. I know those people exist. I'm saying most people. We have so many luxuries. We are doing a podcast right now. Anyone can, but we have the time and the space. We are not the average person to do it. What I wanted to finish off, and this was supposed to be about isolation, because those of you who are remote, if you're not happy, and that was Courtney 10 plus years ago, maybe 15 now. Yes, it is the job and the onboarding, but to Courtney's point and to another episode, like, it was not a great fit.
No.
Doesn't mean it could have worked out. And I think today you would crush that job. I think you would do it so easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. But that part of, like, some people take jobs that they should be opting out of. It's always, oh, the company fired or didn't train. Like, where's your responsibility?
Right.
You went on the date. You went on the interview. But my point is, or not my point, another episode that will come out in a couple weeks is the isolation. You have the job. Maybe you're good at it or not, but like, you have so much more. To Courtney's point of like, you're getting distracted in the office. Well, now you're not at home. If you're not squeezing and extracting every opportunity of that for yourself, from decorating your office to taking your breaks to whatever, like if it's not in harmony, that's on you. That's not on your boss.
That's true.
So I want to make that episode, but that's going to come later. And actually, I think this is better for today. So we're going to wrap up here, and I'm going to point this out. Long before remote became the God-given right and not the privilege that a lot of people still think it is, people would tell me, well, but what if we hire someone and they don't do their job well? I was like, well, then you have a different problem. You need to hire someone who wants to do this job, whether they're in office or not. That's the issue. But when you hire the wrong person, even like in terms of my math, if someone's not at least 60% of a match to do the job, it's in the office, you can at least hover over them. Remotely, yeah, there's more problems. I believe you should hire a better fit. But I know most hiring managers, leaders, I don't think it's not so much they don't want to, they don't have the time to. And so my point is not that Courtney's wrong for wanting what she wants. My point is I get that that's not going to be most companies offering that. That was a good one. I need a drink of water.
Okay, bye.
I make this show for leaders.